Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Metzer, James Roney Jr. in Pampton Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times. 6 times, a prosecutor at the District Attorney's Office has not talked in court to make an argument that I committed a crime. What are the names of my prosecutors? Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, Assistant District Attorney Mark Monahan, Public Defender Julie Sianka, and Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips. This is information you have. I'm not asking you freaks. All 4 names I mentioned there are freaks. I'm being prosecuted in total silence. You know the names, send them to me. It's on the FOIL, 620 Park Avenue, PNB number 361, Rochester, New York 14604. It's that simple. cchichesterjul4 at Gmail. Send it to my Gmail. 813-648-4441. You can call me on the phone and tell me who's prosecuting me in total silence. This is the FOIL right here. I'm not asking you. Freaks and sociopaths, the District Attorney's Office and Public Defender's Office. I'm telling you to disclose the names of all you prosecutors in silence. This is dated September 12th. So, Freedom of Information Law, FOIL. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Pampton Court for John P. Metzer Jr. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? The freaking sociopath is right here as I communicate with you with the district finger of Brooklyn, New York. What's the name of the freaking sociopath? So, the next FOIL for this $28,000 bald-headed widow I hope burns in hell. Hell exists, Paul C. Metzer. I believe in hell. You're going to be in it. This freak once had total control of my life. Our prosecutor would make an argument that I committed a crime. Total, absolute control as I languished in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, where Tops Buffalo mass killer Peyton Jennerin was incarcerated. So, I know what this boy looks like in his 3-piece suit. What's his name? You know Perry Duckles, you know Mark Monahan, you know Julie Sianka, you know Mark Phillips. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Pampton Court for Paul C. Metzer. What is the name? The prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. The freak and sociopath is right here because this is the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. So, the last appearance before this $28,000 fossil, Alex Renzi, about 70 years old. He said I'm finished and done, which is not true. All it takes is one of you freaks and sociopaths at the District Attorney's Office to concoct an arrest warrant. That is a lie. I'll be followed and tracked and stalked, put the handcuffs on me, take me in front of the corrupt judge in some Soviet Union proceeding. I'm declared guilty and in jail. So, who elevated me to Alex Renzi? It's the prosecutor signed Alex Renzi. That's who. The prosecutor signed Alex Renzi that I know is District Attorney Sandra Doorley and her $210,000 salary. This is the prosecutor I don't know. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? This is the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. And the freaking sociopath that forced me into the supervising judge, Alex Renzi, is right on here. And you know the name. Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips. SUNY Fredonia, right, Mark? Didn't we talk about SUNY Fredonia? Well, I went for 2 years before I enlisted in the Army. I had respect for you when we talked about SUNY Fredonia. I don't anymore. Because all you had to do, Mark, is tell me the names of my prosecutors, never hear from me. That's how you, Julie Sianka, and Mark Phillips never hear from me again. It's that simple. So, Alex Renzi, Paul C. Metzer, John P. Metzer Jr., who is it? It is the essence of corruption and refuse to tell a defendant in a courtroom the name of the prosecutor. The Duke Lacrosse players knew that Mike Nifon was the psychopath prosecuting them. I don't know who the psychopath is prosecuting me. So, this FOIL here, the fanaticism of this little room where there isn't a table for a prosecutor to sit down at. There isn't a table for a defense attorney, public defender to sit down at. There isn't a witness box for witness testimony. There certainly isn't a jury box for jury 12. John P. Lomenzo Jr. released accused child rapist Daniel Blouse III because he has a relationship with his family. He doesn't recuse himself from the appearance. I'm saying he's accused. I'm not saying he committed a crime. And this is on Armtel Luster, a 5 Mile Line Road. And when I would ride my bike down there, I would occasionally think about this case. And because I had yet to write the Freedom of Information law because I still lived in Penfield. But when I would look at that road, I would think about Lomenzo, Daniel Blouse III, and I would think about the defective documents for why he was released. Paul C. Metz and James Felling Jr. had these documents because they're in Penfield Town Court. And when I contact the Office of Court Administration about you two vile, sick sociopaths, I'll say that you're refusing. I'll eventually acquire these defective documents. And you're refusing every single time I read these. And this gets Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health. I go to my residence. I go to Penfield Town Court with this exact form I'm about to read. When John P. Lomenzo Jr. was yet to be replaced by this $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer. The same form I give to the old lady at the window. I said, my name's Chris Josh. I just want to see the defective documents in case of Daniel Blouse III, and I go home. I go for my run. I finish my run. Walking down a road called Willow Pond Way. It's like about to get to Sandra Farm Drive where I live. And here comes the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle pulling into my driveway with Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health. I see them. Since I'm already running, I turn around and run away the same direction. Lindsey Barron sees me, and I'm chased down this road by a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee with this mental health bureaucrat because I'm demanding public information in a public proceeding. That's Daniel Blouse III. The corruption and fanaticism and incompetence of this little room. And you're going to go in there, Perry Dawkins, Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley, other freaks and sociopaths at the district attorney's office, and you're just going to grovel before these two, trying to convince these two hacks that you're on the side of truth and morality, when neither one of you are. So, Freedom of Information Law. The, quote, defective documents then call for the case of Daniel Blouse III before John P. Lomenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court sent it to me. I will acquire these documents, Paul C. Metz and James Felling Jr. And I love the fact that you're refusing. Because when I contact the Office of Court Administration, the House Judiciary Committee, when my former boss, Congressman Lawrence Smith, was the chairman, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Judiciary Committees for the Senate Assembly, I'll tell them you're refusing. So, as far as the Freedom of Information Law, I lived in a loft next to the Transit Center on 1 Pleasant Street, Loft 520, with Buckingham Properties. They're on Alexander Street. So, this is how many times. So I show this. If I show photographs directly related to what I'm doing to you, this is the file right here. I put the file down. I think there could be 700 documents here. I don't know. I'd have to count it. But I'm going to take a picture of these documents because that's not everything. I have what I'm looking at right now, my little $600 apartment in Rochester, New York. Is the file, and it is 3 feet high, at least 3 feet high. I'm going to take a picture of that. Then I'm going to, since I can't pay for copying for 3 feet of documents, I'm going to take every single file. I'm going to write the date and the language. I'm going to send it to the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. I'm going to say, this is how many times you've refused to comply with the Freedom of Information Law, which it should be at least 1,000 times. And here's some of them right here. So, fanaticism and corruption. This is why people hate the police. If you were asked Michael Radler, $0 employee, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo, and Scott O'Brien, why do people hate the police? Do you know? There are thousands of reasons why people hate the police. I'm going to tell you one about this $67,000 freak, Shannon Meyer. This is the parking lot, color photo next to where I used to live. My residence is over here. You can see it right there. This is fanaticism. This also has me now writing the criminal complaint that arrived in your office in July about Nayrod Shah and Kumar Shah. My life is going to change when my dentist, Dr. Gloria Nichols, who lived at 2033 Penfield Road, moves, and Nayrod Shah and Kumar Shah move into this building that's next to here. This is 2025 Penfield Road. That's where you put the camera, Todd Baxter. I'm going to get to that too. Ellie Ross, the president of this business called Consumer Insights, where Nancy Doorley is his employee. I've walked through this parking lot 4,000 times. If it's a crime to walk through this parking lot, freaks and sociopaths at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office, I'm New York's 4,000 time criminal. You freaks and sociopaths can walk this parking lot anytime you want, and you won't be arrested. So it's false reporting inside, I believe, is the crime, Because it's not a crime to walk through his parking lot. When A-Rod Shaw goes to the sheriff's office, the man I'd be arrested, but not anybody else like Penfield High School students, that is a crime. Penfield High School students that are athletic apparel walk through his parking lot all day long. Because I can see them. So here are two of my neighbors right here. The color photo. I'm walking back, I believe, from Gold's Gym, because I would go there every day. A-Rod Shaw's up here, starts to scream at me like a fanatic. I turn around and have this confrontation with him. There are guys that I have known in Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island that would have him on the ground immediately. Since I've never been violent in my life, I'm not the type of person. But I would understand someone that violently attacked him, the way he was screaming. So I walk up to him. He's in his car, and I give him the official finger of Brooklyn and New York as I run away. He's on the accusatory instrument. He doesn't tell Shannon Meyer that he initiates this confrontation, and he's screaming at me. But on the accusatory instrument, it has me giving him the finger, which I'm giving to you at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, Penfield Town Court, and you, Alex Renzi, me $208,000 salary. He goes to the sheriff's office. Shannon Meyer tells a man named Steve Desmond of Brock Hall Tree Lawn Care because she wants to arrest me. I'm past 50. I always know what a crime is. I call Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Officer of Property Tax Service. He can't confirm anybody owns this land right here. You see it? Shannon Meyer, this freak, tells Steve Desmond of Brock Hall Tree Lawn, right? Just attracted by your residence here. If he comes to our house, we're going to arrest him. This is the desperation of this freak. So I already talked to Timothy Murphy. I know nobody owns this land. And nobody's been there for 7 years until Layla Kumar and A-Rod Shaw entered. I already know what I'm going to tell the man on his tractor. I walk outside, I stand right here. The man on his tractor's here. He's not cutting grass that day. He rode his tractor by here. When he sees me, he gets off his tractor and walks away. His job is to get me to come out of the house. When there's violence crashing down on the city of Rochester, throughout Monroe County, including the murder of police officers like Anthony Mazurkowitz by drug dealer Kelvin Vickers, this is what this freak Shannon Meyer's doing. He was paid $67,000, and Todd Baxter gave this freak a $16,000 raise. I come outside, I stand right here. I say nobody else allowed to walk back on rents. Do you think that's a crime? Perry Douglas, Mark Monahan, Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips? I'll tell you what the answer is. That's not a crime anywhere. Only in the diseased head of Shannon Meyer, John P. Menz Jr., a few others like these freaks, and they Raj, Shah, and Kumar Shah. So I was able to adopt my dog because I went to Lollipop Farm Humane Society, my then girlfriend, Laura Riley, sheriff's office. Shah and Shah are going to the sheriff's office. About me walking through the parking lot, it's a crime. 4,000 times I walk by a little guy behind my residence. One day the back window flies open. This woman is screaming at me. I think it's Layla Kumar Shah. I don't know. I walk back into my residence. I've said this repeatedly on YouTube, and I've contacted Lollipop Farm about this. An hour later, Monroe County Sheriff Office there demanding my little guy. This vicious confrontation my neighbor watched where your employees, Todd Baxter, these Benito Mussolini skinheads, just like you, Todd Baxter, are demanding my dog. I say you have to kill me to take my little guy from me. Are you confused why people hate the police? Because you should never be. So there's the document, that's the black and white photo that's stapled to this document. And then there's the color photo, which I'm going to show. Todd Baxter, Sheriff, January 16th, 2023. He can't lie about it now because I've seen the images. I think, because since he is an inveterate liar, I believe he will still continue to lie about this. This is how he lies about it. He refuses to tell me if this is private technology, if he expended taxpayer dollars for it. January 16, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, 44604. This photograph's why you're fanatic. This photograph's why you're extremist. This photograph's why you're a liar. This photograph's why I know the name is $67,000 disgusting as Shannon Meyer. This photograph is why people hate the police. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, 44604. Copy 2, Trina Ross, Paul C. Lester, James Young, Junior Mark Phillips, Regina Harper, Perry Douglas, and Michael Bradley. So this here is what arrives in your office. Because the color photo costs more money. That's it right there. The great Mike Pompeo, who was at the Central Intelligence Agency, will tell you exactly what this is. And exactly what this is right here. That's a camera called a surveillance device. Is that not a surveillance device? Kathleen Miller, Michael Rather, William Tadeo, Scott O'Reilly. She already told me it isn't. When you call Lindsay Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to invade my life, you're using these mental health bureaucracies and bureaucrats on me when there's something really radically wrong with you people, like right here. 12 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater and pull the corruption of Todd Baxter. I say, was taxpayer dollars expended for this? And his response to me is, it's a private event. And I've said repeatedly, I don't give a shit if it's a private event. It's just taxpayer dollars. Your boss, Michael Bradley, Kathleen Miller, Scott Alberti, and William Today was a Machiavellian calculator because I believe he has perfected the art of saying nothing, where he refuses to answer a question directly, just like that interview he gave at the Democrat Chronicle. He's talking, rambling. You know why he's elected? Because his 16-year predecessor was ready to go. That's why. Ready to go meaning his age. That's what I mean. So, really coming to my resident man, my dog. So, on January 26th, I sent to you registered mail return receipt. This is what I repeatedly. Here is fanaticism, perjury, violence, rejection, accountability. I'm talking about fanaticism. I'm coming to my registered man, my dog, photographs I've shown. Perjury, Michael Lynn lying under oath, the criminal complaint I'm going to get to about him. Violence, Richard J. Seaman attacking me at the Penn Public Library. I'm going to get to me. I arrived in your office in July. Rejection, you're rejecting my false, refuse to tell your names, my prosecutors, accountability. There's no accountability for you freaks, sociopaths, the sheriff's office, and district attorney's office. So here, I will go with inflammatory language, and then I'll go with the basic, simple to understand language. And this is the basic, simple to understand language. Names. Tell me the names of my prosecutors to silence Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Perry Uckles, and Mark Monahan. It says right here. Attached PDF is a free informational document dated August 28, 2023 that compels you to disclose the names of the prosecutors. Silence the title, 97 pages, fanaticism, nail the names of these fanatics to my address in Park Avenue. And then I have here the same language I just read is here about Lomenzo, Metzler, and Renzi. And then this graph says, you two-party switching psychopaths unable to identify a criminal act will continue to force innocent citizens into the New York State Supreme Court for $208,000 Renzi and Pelton Court for $34,000 Jason Ron Jr., $28,000 Paul C. Metzler. I prefer to have my civil and constitutional rights abridged by one psychopath, not in the help I fall and can't get up commercial. This is the station in life you both arrive at soon. So on August 21st, it's hideous. I never use the same Gmail twice. This is a different Gmail, or I use a Proton mail. I use anything where I think I can't be blocked, so I use a new email. So hideous here. Comply with the attached freedom of information law dated August 21, 2023. Again, using a foil upon freaks and sociopaths at the district attorney's office telling me to disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. And you're refusing every single time to comply with the law. You know why? Because you're above the law. Above the law is such a Hollywood cliche that Hollywood made a film called Above the Law with the great Steven Seagal before he has to prevent Tommy Lee Jones from hijacking an aircraft carrier. So verse, August 8th, comply with the attached information law documentation dated August 8, 2023. Melvin Answer Prosecutor sounds below Park Avenue. You refused. So August 6th, this is called heinous. Same language. Isn't that foil? August 6th. I believe I have the foil here that I can show it to you from August 6th. And this is corruption. When I show you a document, it impeaches you at the district attorney's office, impeaches your character because you're refusing to comply with the law. You demand information every day at the district attorney's office. You better goddamn well receive it. So this August 6th, same documentation. I just read. I'm not going to read the whole thing in the interest of time. Prosecutor for John P. Metzler Jr. There's the foil. Prosecutor before Paul C. Metzler. There's the foil. Prosecutor before this $28,000 hack and fossil sociopath, Alex Renzi, graduate of the illustrious Emory School of Law in Atlanta, Georgia. I had to go all the way to Atlanta, Georgia to get his JD. Again, Dan DeLau's documents here. I'm telling you to disclose that information to me. Richard J. Seaman, a criminal complaint about him, which is in your office, which I'm going to read. This is July 15th, does not matter, Todd Baxter. When I leave my residence for the last time, I do not know this is the last time. Richard J. Seaman, a psychopath partner, staring at my front door. Paul C. Metzler convenes Town Court when there's no one from the district attorney's office present, and I'm going to meet my public defender right after he does what he does to me. July 15, 2023, Baxter, Sheriff, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, North 14604. The violent psychopath employee 75904, Richard J. Seaman, stalked me into the Penn Public Library, stood up the computer terminal. Seaman ran at me, slammed his arm into the side of my head. I fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile floor. This violence is relevant to you. You embrace violence because you felt psychopathic criminal will not be fired. When I write the criminal complaint, that I will add details to this assault by Seaman who will not be arrested or prosecuted. Nothing will happen to taxpayers subsidized sociopath that must undergo immediate mental health evaluation. He will attack other innocent citizens. Did you order Stephen to stalk into the library when you informed about his disgusting predatory behavior? Did you have no knowledge about his fanaticism? You refused to answer. Resign. So, I'm back to September 12th. Before September 12th. You freaks are on here, right here. Tell me their names. So, employees of the sheriff's office, and just turns out.
Sheriff's Office employees Todd Thurston, Scott Alberti, William Tadeo, Kathleen Miller. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been. Been submitted in jail 6 times. I'm going to tell you about one of those times in this brief time I have on this TikTok app. About $75,000 Richard J. Seaman who will not be fired. So Todd Thurston, you're the community engagement officer, so I'm going to tell you what happened to me in the community of Penfield, New York, where I lived for 8 years. I walk into the Penfield Public Library. I do not know. I'm being stalked into the library by $75,000 Richard J. Seaman because one person, bald-headed widow, policy messer, and a $28,000 salary in Penfield Town Court wants to send me to jail. I sit down at the computer. Richard J. Seaton runs at me, extends his arm, slams me in the head with his arm. And when I fell down, my head bounced off the ceramic tile. What do you think about what I just said, Todd Thurston, about the community of Penfield Town Court and his violent attack upon me by Richard J. Seaton? And when I write the assault complaint about him, he won't be fired because the Monroe County Sheriff's Office embraces violence. I leave my residence to go to Gold's Gym in Fairport. I arrive at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans on Penfield Road, and 5 Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicles stopped. 10 plus employees are there for me. 1 Monroe County Sheriff Office employee ran at me, drove his shoulder into my hip, knocked me down, and my head slammed down upon the concrete pavement. What do you think about what I just told you in the community of Penfield, New York, Todd Thurston? It's a violent attack upon me, and I do not know his name. Your female employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos can identify him. And you know what she's going to say, Todd Thurston? Nothing. Because she's the blue wall silence. Every single one of you employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is the blue wall silence. I had to get an MRI because it's a violent attack upon me by this psychopath. And when I'm in the MRI tube, I do not know. My left foot is moving. The technician is saying to me over and over, "Don't move your foot, Chris." What do you think about what I'm saying to you, Monroe County Sheriff Office employees? What you think is obvious. You're the blue wall silence. It doesn't matter to you that I'm violently attacked outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. It doesn't matter to you. This is a sworn officer of law with a holstered weapon and a badge, dedicated to the law and decency, morality, violently attacking me. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have never committed a crime. And every single name I said on here, you're in Jonestown.
Exactly right, Jonestown. Jonestown, as I'm sure you're aware, happened in 1979 in Guyana in South America, when 900 plus followers of Jim Jones drank Flavor Aid, committed mass suicide. This is where the phrase commonly called drinking the Kool-Aid comes from. You're all Kool-Aid drinkers at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office because the truth is irrelevant to you. That's how I define a Kool-Aid drinker. Someone who is alienated from the truth. So, when Richard J. Seaman attacked me, I had $61.39 in my pocket. When I got out of Wilmington County Jail in Geneseo, the check was issued to me, which expired because I knew I was going to come to you to do what I'm doing right now. Send me the money. I was going to hold up this check and say, this is the price of violence. And guess what? Michael Rowley, Kathleen Miller, Scott Over and William Tadeo, Julie Sianka, Mark Monahan, Perry Uckles, Mark Phillips. This is the price of violence. if your head slammed down on a hard surface anywhere because of a psychopath cop, all those names I mentioned, you want justice too. So Anthony Nospano, my landlord, locked me out. All my 1,000 books are gone. My ex-girlfriend just, when I was in jail, took everything out into a storage locker. All this is done without a court order. He locked me out without a court order. My ex-girlfriend took everything I owned to a storage locker. Her name's Laura Riley. We both lived in Webster. We moved to Penfield. So I go to M&T Bank on Monroe Avenue. A book I had was Slaughterhouse 5 by the great Kurt Vonnegut. I had this book. I don't have this book anymore because of Anthony Nospano. But the driving force reason why I don't have this book anymore is because psychopaths and freaks like $83,000 Shannon Myers Sheriff's Office ran a warrant for my arrest, walked through that parking lot. You're all psychopaths and freaks and you don't know it. So I don't have that book because all my books are gone. And since everything is gone, I had to get a new Social Security card. My Social Security card I have had for 40 years is gone. So I have to go and buy clothes because all my clothes are gone. I've held these up before. Every single time I hold one of these up and put it down, I'm at the Goodwill. It's clothes I'm buying the Goodwill. Just because of Anthony Nospano locking the doors and locking me out with the assistance of my ex-girlfriend without a court order. I don't have any clothes because of Anthony Nospano of Fairport, New York. I don't have any clothes because of Laura Riley of Webster, New York. I don't have any clothes because of Todd Baxter. I don't have any clothes because of Sandra Doorley. I don't have any clothes because of Alex Renzi. Who forced me into Alex Renzi? Who is it, psychopaths and freaks at the district attorney's office? That's not a rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is asked for dramatic purposes to make a point. I'm not doing that. That question, my names of my prosecutors, what are the names of my prosecutors, has an answer. What do you say to the employees of the Department of Justice who I have been in contact in the person of Trini Ross? Because Miss Ross, just like you psychopaths and freaks at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office, this comes back to me. This comes back to me right here. This is you at the district attorney's office. This is the sheriff's office, district attorney's office, Penfield County Court, New York Supreme Court, United States Department of Justice, Kathy Hochul, and others in here. Corruption, fanaticism. A psychopath district attorney looks at the FOIA, which I have sent over and over and over, that's in my hand right here, and refuses to disclose the names of prosecutors in a public proceeding. So here's the payroll for the sheriff's office. Freak Shannemeyer, 83291, right? And warrant for my arrest for parking lot walked through 4,000 times. Freak Michael Houlihan, 73312, perjure, involved in the death of a human being. I'm just going to talk about that soon. Houlihan and Don Benedetto, the $85,000 freak, hide on the private property neighbor, come running at me at midnight, turn around and run away. And then Houlihan said I swung a hammer at my back porch that I just grabbed next to my bicycle. When the body camera shows I moved the whole way. I mean, you can meet a grand jury show crowd. This freak right here, Michael Lynn, when he states in that grand jury, he purges himself. Did I swing a hammer at him? He purges himself. Lee LaWai LaRoque in my residence with Doc. It's not a search warrant. Two people decide to get into my residence. Leah Y. LaRoque. 97075. What's the probable cause to take my Chromebook out of my residence? Where is my Chromebook? So, right here, Richard J. Seaton, 75904. He should be fired immediately. He should be prosecuted. State prison is where he belongs. Monroe County Jail is a country club for this fucking psychopath. Attacking me at the Penfield Public Library. So, these are the criminal complaints right here. They're notarized by Christopher Price, the Monroe branch from Rochester Public Library. None of these individuals that have committed crimes have not been arrested. So, I'm going to read it here 5 criminal complaints. You'll concoct crimes for me, you psychopaths and freaks, at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. And then you ignore real crimes being committed in an apartment. So, July 22nd, 2023, Todd, Baxter, Sandra, attach a 4 criminal complaints with this language. Then I'm going to get to the 5th one. That's not on here because I wrote the 5th one 5 days later. Todd, Baxter, Sandra, Doorley. 1. That Richard J. Segan, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked in Pemberton Public Library in Pemberton, New York, ran Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at the head. Chichester caused him to fall backwards, hit his head on the surrounding top floor. 2. Name Roger Lane, Kumar shot 2030 from Pemberton, New York, false reporting incident. Christopher Chichester falling 26 hands on drive, walked through his park next to his residence. 3. Antello Spano, Fairport, locked the front and back doors, 26 hands front and drive, without corridor. 4. Laura Riley, Webster, and transport personal belongings. Christopher Chichester, 26 hands from Pemberton, New York, to a storage locker, and Webster, without a corridor. These are crimes. Each individual will not be arrested or prosecuted. There's 1 day in jail, sir, for these crimes. I've destroyed my life because you're incapable of identifying crime and you can concoct crimes for this instance, the 18 condition. Then here on this YouTube link, it's called Rejection. I'm telling you, Perry Dogs and Mark Monahan disclosed the answers are prosecuting Sway corrupt. For 113.918 42 Perry Douglas, 112.508 75 Mark Monahan. Unconstitutional. Sheriff Todd Baxter, Attorney Sandra Renzi. It's unconstitutional because I believe it's unconstitutional policy message being passed for town court when district attorney's office not notified. This is the criminal complaint about Richard J. Segan that I read. So there it is right there. That's the language. This is in your office. You have it. Registered mail can receive. This is why the district attorney, sheriff board, is corrupt because real crimes don't matter. Fake crimes, phony crimes matter. This is a criminal complaint for Nayrod shot right here. Real crimes don't matter. Fake crimes, phony crimes matter for the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. This is a criminal complaint right here for Anthony Spano locking me out of my residence without a court order. Real crimes don't matter. Fake crimes, phony crimes matter for the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. So this is the criminal complaint of my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, who was once an angel. Violent in law, taking everything I own to a storage locker, and also a bookcase she doesn't own that's now in her residence. Real crimes don't matter. Fake, phony crimes matter. So, corruption requires repetition. I will repeat this. This freak right here. This is why people hate the police. I hate this freak. I was in Livingston County Jail for this lie, for this perjury. So, that's 73312 Michael Houlihan, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked onto private property, cost of residence 26 cents from driving Pemberton, New York, Christopher Chichester, the Houlihan ran at Chichester, approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down better than Sheriff's Office. That Chichester ran away from Houlihan, unaware of the identities. That Chichester grabbed a hammer alongside the residence next to his bike, used to fix the bike's tire. That Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps on the back porch. Houlihan grabbed his arm, the hammer in Chichester's hand is forced upwards. Chichester ran across the back porch through a sliding glass door, and as Chichester never stopped running. It's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. Impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. What's not to understand? So here's my handwriting right here. And more importantly, on that criminal complaint, this freak won't be fired, arrested, and will be 1 day in jail for him lying on the rope. Notarized by Christopher Price on July 27th, which you have in your office. It's right here. That's me telling you, Todd, Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley, that this is a freak cop perjurer involved in the death of a human being. So, over and over, you're just simply refusing to comply with the law. Todd Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, part-time racer. These are the children of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees. Is this nepotism at the Sheriff's Office or not? Barbara Fells, the first is Barbara Fells. I'm not going to read all these here. Is Barbara Fells related to a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee? I don't recall a name Fellows, but you could have the grandchildren and the nieces and nephews of your Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee. How many of these part-time employees of the Sheriff's Office are the children of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees? The nieces and nephews, the grandchildren of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees. I know you won't answer me. I'm going to go into detail about this. I'll write 1,000 words just about this. Part-time rates. I'm going to contact Thomas B. DiNapoli to demand that you be audited, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I'll say you're refusing to answer me. So, you can answer me over and over and over. Now, Julie Sianka, here you are right here. How is this explained to Spring Lamar and the members of the Monroe County Legislature? I will take pictures of these. This is you right here returning my mail to me. Isn't that right? Julie Sianka again, returning my mail to me. You see the name there. Post office will put the marker over the envelope. You can't see the name, but on here you can see Mark Phillips returning my name, mail to me, pardon me. Mark Phillips again was wrong with you, Mark. You know, I once had respect for you, it evaporated and it started coming back to me. This again is Mark Phillips. You can't see this is over his name. This is again Mark Phillips. You can see it right here. Mark Phillips, taxpayer supported $87,000 employee who has information for me that I'm demanding. In this one here, what are the names of my prosecutors, Mark? If you had a friend or family member who's in jail, Mark, or a prosecutor talk court, you want justice and you want their names too. Mark Phillips right here again, send this back to me. This is corrected every single time. So Mark Phillips again. All you had to do is tell me your names, Mark, and then you're never going to hear from me. And here it is again. I'm paying money every single time for you, Mark Phillips. Tell me those names. Mark Phillips again. Here. This is Mark Phillips again. Here. To prosecutor talk to court, Mark, what would you think if you were in jail? Not a friend or family. You, Mark Phillips, were in jail as an innocent man. The prosecutor talk to court, and then you're contacting your public defender saying, "What's the name of my prosecutor?" And your public defender sending your envelopes back. What do you think about that, Mark? Here you are again, Mark Phillips. Here you are again, Mark Phillips. You can't see here. This tag is over it. Here you are. This is Jansen McNair. This is Jansen McNair, Patrick hired the Office of Public Integrity. There's the J right there. They put this over here. 1,000+ words. Patronage hired Jansen McNair. You, Todd Baxter, call Adam Bello, the county executive, about him. Well, he's a double dipper just like you. You're fleecing taxpayers, Todd Baxter, arrogant about being a double dipper, just like him. Here again is Jansen McNair, who has obviously seen me on YouTube, and that's why he's refusing to open his mouth. I'm asking him questions about what he does. Why does Monroe County need, like this hack right here, Jansen McNair? Jansen McNair, what I'm saying to him in here is, why are you there? Because when I worked in the city of Albany, there was no Office of Public Integrity for the mayor. His name was Thomas Whalen. Thomas Whalen succeeded Erastus Corning III, who was the mayor of Albany from 1941 to 1983. And he was in office for 12 years. And he was there when I was in graduate school, SUNY Albany. Thomas Whalen was the mayor. And now Jerry Jennings was the mayor for 12 years after Thomas Whalen. There's no Office of Public Integrity. Live right there in the city, right next to the Capitol, where Kathy Sheehan is the mayor today. There's nothing like that. Ridiculous Office of Public Integrity. What a joke. So, over and over and over, I'm demanding you answer me when the man comes by my residence. Shannon Meyer using civilians. He's wearing this on his head. So, everything I demanded there on this day here, today, on this September 12th, I demanded to you on January 28th, right here. There's 70, all 70 on this January 28th, you refused. So, Jamie Belliard, release under supervision, where the prosecutor doesn't talk in court, and I have to go to Pretrial Services Corporation, but I don't have a trial scheduled. Release under supervision. The rage this generates in me when I have to go see her, Pretrial Services Corporation, where I don't have a trial. Alex Renzi is using this Pretrial Services Corporation upon me. If I don't make a phone call, if I don't make appearance, he can return me to jail. This is insanity. So, application for a driver's license, not an ID card, because all my identification is gone, so I have to fill that out to get additional identification. What I don't have, my DD-214 that was in my 1980 Mercury Capri, ETS, this is Sergeant E5 from the 17th Cavalry 101st Airborne Division on April 14, 1988, with 45 days leave. I don't have my original DD-214. These freaks that you've unleashed upon me, I don't know about Anthony O'Spotter. I'm absolutely confident. Nayraj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah, going to the sheriff's office, have never once served in the military. I believe they have no service whatsoever. These are leeches on society. And since Shannon Meyer's a leech on society, unleashing these two upon me, you're perfectly comfortable with that. At the Jonestown, that's the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So, at 70 Liberty Pole Way, I had to have a case manager. This is from 2021. Who is Felix I. Ortiz of Bronx, New York. When doors locked and I'm locked out, I slept at House Whalen Park for 3 weeks. My case manager, Felix I. Ortiz, and Felix helped me. That place I was at, 70 Liberty Pole Way, was founded by the great Wayne Booth. And I was born at Booth Memorial Hospital in Queens, New York on July 4, 1965. For the first 50 years of my life, I got 2 speeding tickets. After I'm 51, I'm the same human being. You're just concocting these crime after crime after crime for me. You know what a joke you are at the sheriff's office when off the train you go to and you can't identify a crime? I'm being charged with harassment second sitting in the backseat of a vehicle. I'm being charged with criminal attempt second for telling my man his track that nobody owns in land next to my residence. I run away from Houlihan and Benedetto and Houlihan lies instead of swung a hammer at them. All these are fiction. Every single one is a piece of fiction. John P. Lomenzo Jr. has me in contempt of court because I corrected him in Town Court when he screams Christian charges he charged with trespass. And I said to him, it's criminal attempt second. Ridiculous. So, you know how it is easy to be indicted by a freak like you, directed the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? Here is Donald Trump, Queens, New York. Donald Trump, Queens, New York is a ham sandwich. I'm Chris Chichester, born in Queens, New York. I'm a ham sandwich just like him. Answer my questions about that grand jury, Michelle Crowley. And I'm glad that you continue to refuse because I have a case for your disbarment. For $131,416, Michelle Crowley, you've been silent for 12 plus months about these 18 to 24 anonymous idiots at this grand jury. Michael Houlihan perjured himself. He was paid just $1,000 less than Todd Baxter, and nobody elected you to anything. What did you say to $73,000 freak Michael Houlihan and $85,000 freak Don Benedetto? Did you say something like, what are you doing on the private property? How did he swing a hammer at you? Did you see the body camera footage for $73,000 Michael Houlihan and $85,000 Don Benedetto? I'm not asking this rhetorically, and I'll write this down. I've been in contact with you with 1,000+ words a year ago. But I'm going to write this down again. What I'm saying, I'm going to write down and send to you, Michelle Crowley, with a series of questions about these two psychopaths, Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto. So for $131,000, you know what you're going to do, Michelle Crowley? Refuse to answer. So I'll conclude with this here. Warped. On July 24th here, these are all your emails here. I'm telling you here, attached to PDF, Freedom of Information Law documents dated July 24, 2023, requires you to disclose the identities of my prosecuted silence before Penfield Town Court Judge John P. Lomenzo Jr., Penfield Town Court Judge Paul C. Metz, New York State Supreme Court Judge Renzi. Mail the names of my prosecuted silence. Tiago Explorer, Ross, New York, you will refuse. I understand if I'm not watching YouTube. This arrives at the district attorney's office, sheriff's office, where this has been signed for. Now, refusing every single time. So, my personal property, when my wallet was not returned to me, here is the bag. I can't even keep track of people's property. I had to go back to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to get my wallet because when Richard J. Seeley attacked me at the Sheriff's Office, this was the bag that my wallet and my keys and my other items that were in my pocket that was given to me when I'm taken to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. So here is everybody guilty? Paul C. Metz and James Crowley Jr.? I don't know. I haven't opened this up yet because I will get physically sick of having to look at how these two freaks at the Soviet Union, as Penfield Town Court, declaring every single person guilty. So, employees of the district attorney's office, send me the names of my prosecutors of silence, and you will refuse because you're psychopaths. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole